you could join us today. We are partnering with the amazing people at iSpark to cook with you and learn together. And I am so honored to be able to work with Rachel and just learn from each other and share with you. We are on the beautiful homelands of the Ucluelet people, colonially known as Ucluelet Nation. We are honored to be, and as you can see where we are surrounded by hemlock and cedar and rose, and it is just a beautiful place to be today. And we get to cook and be together and learn. Today's episode is focusing on eating together. So we're setting the table with a few fun recipes. We're gonna make nettle pesto. We are gonna make
smoked salmon berry dip. And we're gonna make a nori wrap with some smoked salmon, so seaweed and smoked salmon.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have a party plate.
A party plate, yes.
Party plate.
Very excited about that.
So really what a party plate is a plate of all the foods we love for a quick and easy dinner, because sometimes you don't have time to cook. So we have a full episode full of deliciousness, and we can't wish you could come and eat with us at the end, but Rachel has invited some of her lovely friends to join us.
Yes.
But we should introduce who we are. So I am Fiona. I am a white settler of Irish ancestry. My family is first generation to these homelands. I occupy and benefit off the homelands of the Lekwungen speaking peoples, but my career and personal learning has really come from a vast number of nations, also the Wisanic, the Pachidat, but also all the families up and down the island, from the Ucluełił̔atḥ, the Yuułuʔił̔atḥ, and the Coast Salish peoples. I wouldn't be here today with any of this knowledge without people's generosity sharing with me. And then I have another new friend that keeps teaching me about the love of food. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So my name is Rachel. I am also trained as a dietitian and am a food lover. I live and work alongside the Yuułuʔił̔atḥ people and have the privilege of living on colloquial territory, also known as Tofino. I'm originally from Prince Rupert, and my family is from the Ucluelet Nation. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you and to learn from Fiona today.
Yay! So yeah, some of these recipes have been gifted to me and inspired me beyond measure. So today we're starting with, I think, one of the first native plants that really started to kind of really decolonize me and start to see my garden differently and start to see my learning differently. And it is the beautiful nettle. But this is nettle that I have processed in early April, late March, and it's just the top two leaf segments of the nettle plant. I clip those off with scissors, and then I lightly steam them. And then to have nettle throughout the whole year, it is about freezing it. And what I do is I boil it, and then I just plop the plant into ice cube trays, and then I freeze that, and I can access it for soups and stews, smoothies. But this is also just defrosted, processed nettle.
Amazing.
And so, yeah.
And so can you tell me why you love nettle so much from a nutrition perspective and other?
Yeah. Well, as a woman, I am deeply connected to nettle. I'm not sure if you can kind of see that dark color. There really isn't a green that is that deep. It kind of reminds me of seaweed, right? And we talked about seaweed in other episodes. They're so nutritious. And nettle is one of the super dark greens. And I think about nettle, when you dig nettle up, its roots go deep, 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 right down. They're very deep into the earth. And what is in the earth? Minerals. And so nettle draws all the minerals up into its leaves and provides us with blood building medicine. And it also is a kind of restorer of nutrition. So I kind of really think of it as like a really strong superfood, like really nourishing to the blood. And as a woman, it's high in iron. And so I really appreciate that. It's also got trace minerals like selenium and zinc, and antioxidants that really help, and chlorophyll, which is just, again, something that really nourishes our body.
I love how green it is.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't have access to nettle, or you wanted to make this recipe, you know, today or tomorrow, and you couldn't wait till next spring when the nettles are available, What else could you use, do you think?
Pesto is traditionally made with basil.
Of course.
And so you can just use basil, which you can buy in the grocery store or grow here on these lands, but also kale, like any wild green borage, Swiss charge, arugula. So sometimes I actually go out into the yard and just snip away and then grab everything and make sure I sometimes have basil, and then I'll use some of this.
I love it.
And so it's just a mixture of wild greens. And so this recipe calls for 6 cups of fresh greens. And what we've done is, of course, process this. So this is about 6 cups of fresh nettle, which of course you'd never want to use fresh nettle. You want to always process it because, of course, nettle is stinging nettle. So I have a pot and I put about 1 inch of water at the bottom of the pot. Then I put the wild greens in. I put a lid, 1 full minute.
Okay.
But you want to get the greens out of the water as fast as possible. You'll be so amazed to see how much color of the water changes. So you don't want that medicine going into the water. You want to try to keep as much of it.
Amazing.
So what I'll do sometimes is take that water and put it into the food processor when I blend it. So you're keeping the water, if you need a little bit of water to blend it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard of some people actually drinking the water afterwards as a tea.
Exactly.
Okay.
Medicine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like in one of the episodes, we talked about drinking the salmon juice. Like no waste here, right? Yeah. So this is a really special recipe. It only has a few things. We've got the wild greens or the stinging nettle, the basil, garlic, walnuts, lemon, and some Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
And some oil. And we're
Awesome.
good.
And so can I ask, if you didn't have walnuts, although I do love walnuts for the omega-3 fatty acid, and you've shared with me before how they're good for brain health. If you didn't have walnuts, what else could you use?
Any nut, really.
Any nut?
Like
Awesome.
almonds. I mean, I've never done peanuts. Have you?
No.
No. They can be the most inexpensive nut, but I think any nut that you like. But I like walnuts are kind of that balance, and then they're so packed full of nutrition, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. And then do you think you could use like the already minced garlic?
Oh my God, yes.
Totally.
And also what I brought today too is sometimes I don't have enough lemons or I didn't buy a lemon. So in my fridge, I always have lemon concentrate.
Okay.
So we're gonna use, of course, a fresh lemon, but you can also use this and we'll talk through how much as we're going through the recipe.
And then we do have the Parmesan cheese here already grated. And sometimes what I offer as an alternative for anyone that doesn't like dairy or can't tolerate dairy is actually using miso paste. So miso pesto. So miso has that same savory taste as Parmesan cheese, that kind of salty umami flavor. They call it like the 5th taste. So you could start with like a tablespoon of miso and see how that tastes. But today we're using Parmesan.
Great.
So what do you want me to do?
All right, well, why don't you do my favorite chop, which is the chopping.
Well, luckily we have a food processor.
Oh yeah, so we don't,
I'm just gonna, lightly chop, I guess.
And we do need to acknowledge that not everyone has a food processor, and this isn't something that needs a food processor. So you could, mince the garlic, chop it up really finely, put it in a bowl, but we're gonna use the food processor just for ease, especially if you're using, like you've already chopped up the nettle like this, you wouldn't need the food processor as much, but it is handy. But some people have a blender, and this can easily be done in a blender as well. So it's really amazing, like 6 cups of stinging nettle. It looks so much, but it's amazing how much it shrinks down to when it's processed. So there we go. And we decided to go big or go home today and do the 3 cloves of garlic. So do you want to add those to the food processor for me?
Yep, I'm just gonna add them whole, and we're just gonna let the food processor do the work. Walnuts.
I
love it.
Just because putting the garlic and the walnuts just to get them kind of going.
Okay,
yeah. Break them down
so the harder things on the bottom.
Yeah.
I see where you're going. And then what about the basil?
Yeah, we're gonna do 2 cups of basil.
So fresh.
That looks like a cup. That looks perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
And then we could maybe give that a whiz. That's one good food processor.
Amazing.
I love it.
Oh, it smells so good.
So we've got some deep, really delicious flavors. So we've got the garlic, the nuts, and the nettle. And so to add some vibrancy, that's where the lemon juice or the lemon and the lemon juice can come in really well. And I want to just highlight the fact that I'm in love with zesting. So when I'm using lemon, lime, anything like that. I really love it just adds a deeper flavor. Of course, the juice inside adds so much, but you're also getting, just a lot more flavor. So we're going to just zest the outside of the lemon and also use the juice of the lemon. And not everyone has a zester, so it's not essential, but it's just something I felt like acknowledging. That smell. So it's going to add that lightness to the pesto.
Okay.
So the other last ingredient that we haven't really mentioned, of course, is olive oil. Oh, and the cheese. We have to add the cheese. I'm just going to wing it. I don't put a lot of salt at the beginning because we got the cheese in there. So, or the miso is a bit salty as well, right? Yeah, let's give it a whiz. I think we're going to need more oil.
Okay.
But we can see.
Looks amazing. Maybe let's taste it straight out of here first.
Yep.
There you
Thanks,
go.
love.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So good.
That was perfect. So
do you feel like a little bit more lemon?
Could use more lemon for sure. And the other thing about the lemon, which we didn't mention, is
so good.
Lemon, which we know is high in vitamin C, helps with the absorption of the iron from the nettles. So plant-based iron loves vitamin C. They're best friends. So adding the lemon maximizes the nutrition that we're going to get from the nettles. Okay.
This looks so good. So lots of times I love just eating pesto with crackers or as a dip, but I also use it quite regularly. I make homemade pizza and it's always I don't use a tomato base ever. It's always a pesto. And it really is, I can see as dark color it is that I know that it's really good medicine for me, but I also struggle with low iron.
Okay. And then, so this actually made quite a bit of pesto.
Yeah.
And so could you freeze it?
Well, that's why I brought these little doohickeys out. So to the ice cube trays. So I showed that I would freeze the nettle in here, but once it's made, I'll freeze the pesto.
Amazing.
And then I'll have pesto for the full year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I also will put it in little, the half a cup mason jars.
Okay.
So then I just defrost them in smaller amounts.
Yeah.
So kind of just depends on what your storage is like. Or you could also put them in the small freezer bags and flatten them. And that can be also really, really helpful.
Great idea. I love the idea of it on pizza. All right, I'm going to put it in this bowl.
Yeah.
But I love this consistency. Not too runny, nice and thick, and looks really nourishing.
So we are like a full-on high flash cooking show where we already have our platter ready. And there we go.
Amazing.
So when we have our friends come join us later, everyone can enjoy the wild stinging nettle pesto.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your help. Next is my favorite thing I've ever eaten in my life, I swear. Smoked salmon, huckleberry dip.
Amazing.
And of course, it's not huckleberry season here, so we're adapting it and adding some salmon berries that, of course, we just harvested right here. But also you can, instead of huckleberries, you could use blueberries. So we have some beautiful blueberries. So this recipe, we've of course adapted it. It calls for 4 to 6 cups of smoked fish, which I feel like you gotta know some good people to have 4 to 6 cups of smoked fish.
Very luxurious.
So we've adapted it a little bit to make it a little bit more accessible and maybe not as rich, like just a bit of a balance. So we're gonna be using some beautiful canned salmon that Rob and Edgar donated to us today. But you could also use just, canned salmon from the store, whatever you have. So, and then what we're gonna do is complement it with some candied salmon as well.
Amazing.
So I am excited to share this with you because you said you've never had it.
I've never had it. This is your favorite food in the whole world? Wow.
Like you might find me in a corner later, just eating this by myself in a very happy place. So this is wonderful. So what we have, we're gonna again use the food processor, so you don't really need it, but for ease, and it's a nice way to show you, it's just gonna take a little bit more elbow grease.
Okay.
If you're gonna just use a bowl and add these ingredients. But we're gonna start with our good old friend, the onion. And it asks for a half a cup of onion, but we have guests coming today, and you know, the onion can be really strong, so we're gonna just step it back a bit and then taste it, and if we want to add more onion, we'll add it.
Okay.
So what do you think? Maybe starting with a fourth of a cup of onion?
Yes, so I'm gonna half that, and can I just start putting it in the food processor?
Yeah.
Great, okay. I especially love onion for the gut health. I've talked about that in the past. I'm really big into onion and garlic for its prebiotic benefit, so I love that we have onion in this dish.
Yeah, and it just adds that little bit of flavor. And then to add a bit of crunch, we've got celery.
Amazing, so 2 celery stalks.
Yeah.
Just gonna roughly chop that.
Yeah, and celery kind of is underrated, but a powerful flavor in our food, and adds that crisp and crunch. So it's a really,
Can I put the leaf in?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. That was really good. I loved it. I felt like you were making soup there. Like when you were making soup or stews or broths, you would never throw this out. But for this specific dip, I think we will just honor that into the compost bin. And then we have a bit of cream cheese. And we'll add the cream cheese in now. And this is about a half a cup.
Half cup cream cheese, amazing. Okay.
And then we're gonna whiz this up.
Probably good.
Oh, that looks so good. That's perfect. So you can see that the celery and onion are quite nicely fine. And then we've got the cream cheese.
It smells so good.
And now comes the medicine. So we're gonna add a can of the salmon. And I was kind of wondering if we should save the juice and try and put it in there. So what we're gonna do is drain it. But if we feel like it could do with a bit of moisture at the end, we'll add the juice at the end. Gosh, it smells so good.
Yeah. And I will also mention with any jarred salmon, I guess not all jarred salmon, but the majority of jarred salmon that I'm familiar with has the bones in it, which I really love because that's where we get a lot of calcium from. So, you know, we do have dairy in here, but a lot of people don't have a lot of dairy in their diet. So getting the calcium from fish bones, whether it be jarred salmon or sardines, is really, really beneficial.
Yeah, great point.
Okay.
And then we're gonna add our beautiful candied fish. But we're gonna chop it up a little bit.
All right.
In just a little cubes, and then add that in. And we're gonna add yogurt. So we could have doubled up on the cream cheese, but it kind of does make it a heavier dish.
Okay.
And it adds a little bit more fat and calories. So what we're doing is we're adding, is that about a cup?
Half a cup of plain, it's Greek yogurt?
Yeah, Greek yogurt.
Okay.
And we picked the Greek yogurt so it's thick, kind of like cream cheese. And it's going to add a little bit more lightness and life to the dip.
I love it.
Compared to a full, deep cream cheese version.
And if you didn't have the Greek yogurt, could you just use regular plain yogurt?
I think so.
Okay.
You might want to be careful about, you know, plain yogurt can be a little bit more watery. We picked the Greek yogurt because it's a bit thicker.
I see. Okay.
But I don't think it would be a massive issue.
All right.
So yeah, we're gonna whiz it up.
Whiz it up. Okay. This is exciting.
How does that look?
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Can I come smell?
Please?
Oh my God. I think you can see that onion. I feel like we did a really smart thing by holding back, because smell the onion. It's really got some life in there. It's beautiful.
It smells amazing, and I love the consistency, so I think we did the right thing by not adding the salmon juice.
Yeah, it would be a bit watery if we did that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We don't want that.
Yeah. And so what's next for?
So we've got cheese, yogurt, we got salmon. So we want to add a bit of something light.
Yeah.
And I think this was the most creative part of this recipe, is we're going to add the berries.
Yay.
So we're going to add the gorgeous, beautiful salmon berries, my friends.
So that's about half a cup?
Yeah.
Okay, and then half a cup of blueberries?
Yeah. And we're
Great.
going to gently whiz these.
Okay.
Right? Because we don't want to lose them. Check it out.
Let's check it out.
See how the berries broke down there?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
I think that's, oh my gosh, looks amazing. Are you happy for me to plate it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so while I'm plating it, I'm pretty sure you're going to drink that salmon juice.
Okay. All right. I'm going to down this, and I am wearing white, so I'm picturing salmon juice down my front. So let's see how this goes. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
How's that medicine?
Oh my God, it's so good. So good. Oh my God, you can actually feel it in your body going down. It's so good. Thank you for that challenge. A great crowd pleaser, family dinner. Like sometimes that's what we're kind of trying to do today is deconstruct these big fancy recipes. But imagine everyone sitting around having some fruit, veggies, some crackers, some tortilla chips.
Wow, that looks beautiful.
Yay. So yeah,
Can we try a little bit?
Okay.
I got some crackers
Oh, you have
here.
some crackers? Perfect.
Yeah, so I like these kind of like whole grainy type crackers. I'm going to actually try it on this. Here you go. That's for you.
Thanks, love. Oh my gosh, you can just see like each segment of the salmonberry in here. I'm so glad it was salmonberry season. I've never made this with salmonberry before. So cheers.
Cheers.
Yay. Oh my God.
I can see what you mean.
It's so good.
That is amazing. Not too much onion.
Yeah, I think we made the right choice cutting back on the onion. Now, I'm just having a moment. Tell me if I'm wrong. Would you ever put lemon in that?
I was thinking about dill, actually.
Yes, because that would be nice.
I'm a dill lover. Dill and salmon.
Yeah.
Lemon, yeah, definitely to brighten it up a little bit. And maybe huckleberries are more tart. So maybe that's because the original recipe is with huckleberries. So you would get kind of that tartness from the lemon.
Yeah. So there's lots of options that you could do with this recipe. Make it your own. The foundation, of course, is the beautiful salmon that has fed people on these lands since time out of mind. So we want to honor the salmon done in two different ways as well, from the jarred, like you said, with full of calcium, and then of course the candied, which is prized and so delicious. So just that beautiful balance. But have fun with it, explore it, and enjoy it.
So now we are going to make some nori salmon wraps. And then also an alternative, we're going to use regular wheat wraps, but you could also use corn wraps. But the theme of this recipe is the seaweed and the salmon, so two of my favorite foods. So we have a few things that are going to go into these nori wraps, but you definitely can be as creative as you like. I have here some carrots, which we're going to kind of grate or like lightly, or you could also chop them. We have some cucumber, we're going to slice that. And then we're gonna make kind of like a sauce for the nori wraps to help everything stick together. And we're gonna use some cream cheese, some red onion, some mayonnaise, and some lemon.
Oh, okay.
And lemon zest. If you didn't do dairy, you could use something like hummus or avocado. You can really be as creative as you like, but this is how we're gonna, try it out today. And we're gonna have some guests over later to taste test it for us.
Wonderful.
All right, so first I'm going to mix together the sauce. So I have here the cream cheese. This is probably about half a cup of cream cheese that's a bit soft. So I'm gonna put this in here. There's something about the combination of cream cheese and salmon.
Yeah, and we didn't mention the salmon, but I'll just highlight the
salmon.
Beautiful salmon. What do we have here?
Okay, so we have some cold smoked salmon here, and then some candied salmon here, but you can use any salmon you have.
Yeah, you could use canned.
Yeah. If we didn't have salmon.
Or even like leftover salmon.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay, I'm excited.
All right, so I have the cream cheese, and then I'm gonna add just a little bit of mayonnaise. Of course, you could omit if you would like, and this just kind of helps to make it more saucy, I guess. So that's probably about a heaped tablespoon. And then I have a lemon here, and we talked about how much we love zesting the lemon.
Oh, fun.
Just for that nice hit of flavor. But if you didn't have fresh lemon, you could use the lemon juice.
Yeah, the concentrate that we have.
Concentrate, yeah.
Yeah. That looks beautiful.
All right, and then I might just start with a little less than half of the lemon. We do really want the lemon flavor, but we do not want it to be too runny.
Oh yeah, we don't want the liquid.
We
Because
don't want
then
too
with the wraps would get kind of soggy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're just gonna start small and then we can always adjust.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna do a little pinch of salt. So 2 shakes.
Awesome.
And then I'm just gonna give it a little mix.
How about I mix it up?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Give me something to
Amazing.
do. Yeah.
Okay, well, Fiona's mixing. I'm gonna prep the veggies. So we have here a cucumber. And again, you could use any vegetables you like. Again, I love the combination of cucumber and salmon. I don't know.
They're my favorite too.
So I'm just kind of chopping it into strips. So I'm just gonna chop out those seeds.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so we have some cucumber here, and I'm gonna take a carrot. And I have this kind of fancy carrot shredder, which I love. But if you don't have this, you could grate the carrot, or you could just kind of chop it really finely. It's really nice for salads. Yeah.
I've never seen that. I want one. Those are amazing.
So we can start with that. The salmon, maybe what I'll do is we can start with this cold smoked salmon. And I will just chop a few slices.
Gosh, that looks so good.
It does. I like a little bit of red onion in it. You definitely don't need to use red onion or onion at all. Again, that red onion and salmon.
All right.
Okay.
I'll mix that up for you.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so what I have here is just the regular kind of sushi wrap. You can get this at any supermarket. So seaweed is a traditional food for the coastal nations, but this is kind of like a processed form. But it works well for this recipe. So we're just gonna put this down and then take this mixture here. And I'm just gonna take, maybe a spoonful, tablespoonful, and then put it down. And you only need to put it on half.
Okay. Yeah, seaweed is something I'm really working on trying to have in my diet every day. I've gotten to be able to harvest it a bit and connect with it. But I'm really been just learning as a health professional, just the deep medicine that it provides for us. It has carbohydrates, it has proteins, and it really is a full spectrum, like everyday vitamin and mineral supplement. I even had an elder say she adds a little bit of it to her coffee every day because she couldn't find another time
I love that.
to get it, but she knew that she needed a teaspoon of powdered seaweed every day. So
I love that. Okay, so I just put some cucumber, a little bit of carrot. Again, you could try some beets, you could try avocado, you could try some sprouts. What else could you put? Oh, red peppers would be really nice.
yeah.
And then I have the salmon. Okay, and so now what we're gonna do is roll it. So how I like to do it is kind of start rolling and then just kind of push my fingers under to kind of like make sure the seaweed is tucked under, and then just keep rolling.
Wow.
And the seaweed's pretty good. It's generally pretty sticky, but what I also have here is a little bit of water. So I'm just gonna wet it here just to help it stick. And then that's it.
Wow.
So I really like the idea of just kind of eating it as a wrap or like a seaweed burrito. But because we're gonna enjoy this with some friends today, I'm gonna cut it and then we're gonna serve it as little finger foods. Okay, so let's see how this goes.
So like little appetizer bites.
Little finger appetizers.
Oh, Rachel, they look so delicious.
There you go.
They're perfect.
Yeah, little finger food.
And you really could use anything that you have in your fridge. Oh, wow. I love it. So exciting. Now we're going to try a wrap?
Yeah, we're gonna try it with the wrap. So if you don't have nori seaweed or you're just kind of thinking that's too funky for you, just a regular wrap. We're gonna actually cover the whole wrap just because the wraps aren't gonna be as sticky as seaweed.
Wonderful.
So we're gonna go with the same theme. So we have some cucumber.
Yeah, I'm really liking what you're creating. It's like the wrap or the nori is this foundation for all this delicious food instead of bread or, just some kind of really neat ways to create lunches, which is really fun. So this is the candied fish. We're doing the
candied fish. Okay,
looks so good.
Again, we're just gonna kind of do that little tuck.
So like, yeah, full on burrito tuck.
Yeah, and you could just eat it like a burrito. No need to cut it.
Oh yeah.
So if you're sending it to school with one of your kids.
Yeah, you could just wrap it up and Send it on its way. I need to snoop. Oh, look at that. Looks so good. Wow. Can I eat this?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mmm. Oh my gosh, so good.
And there you have it. Some fun finger food, school snack food. We're gonna have a picnic with some friends soon food.
Rachel, this is absolutely gorgeous and so simple. I'm sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full because it's so delicious. Anyways, thank you so much. Your creativity when you cook makes me so happy.
Oh, thank you.
And I really want to work harder on getting more seaweed in my diet, so thank you for inspiring me.
Amazing.
Our guests are coming into the house, and one of the things that we wanted to set the table with was our party plate.
Party plate, love it.
It doesn't have to be this elaborate. Sometimes it is really crackers and cheese and salmon and some fruit and veg. But these are some of my favorite things. And so of course we've grounded the party platter with the fish, the amazing kind of show-stopping fish. So whenever I have that, I do honor it. And we've got some smoked oysters. And of course, from my Irish heritage, I have cheese. But how about you, Rachel? What are some of the things on this plate?
I am really excited about these oysters, these smoked oysters. They're such a inexpensive, convenient, health food. Really, really high in zinc, and zinc is something that a lot of us don't get enough of. Zinc is really important for our immune system, and oysters are one of the best sources of zinc. So I'm really excited about that. And these seedy crackers look amazing. I love the flax in them. And so we're gonna get a lot of fiber from those crackers. And I love how nothing on this plate is really gonna be a sugar spiker. So we're gonna eat, a combination of these things, and our sugar levels are gonna be nice and stable. So we're not gonna feel tired after we eat or irritable. Nice balanced blood sugars. So I really love everything that's on this plate. And of course we have some fruit for, the sweetness afterwards, if that's what we want. This is really beautiful.
Yeah, we're really excited to invite our guests in to come eat with us. And so thank you for listening to us share why we love party plates. So James, this is what Rachel and I call our party plate. And so this is kind of a combination of Rachel and I's favorite food. So we'll pass around plates and you guys can grab a fork and pick whatever you want to enjoy with. And Rachel was just acknowledging we did some cooking before you came.
So this is a smoked salmon and berry dip, and it has cream cheese in it. Nettle pesto, so regular pesto with nettle from Fiona's garden.
It does.
Yeah, do you like seaweed? Yeah. Oh, good, because here we have some seaweed wraps, and there's some cold smoked salmon in them. So this is all the things that we can try, and love to hear what you think about them. We tried to incorporate as much food from the land as possible.
And that was the focus of kind of making a party plate or snackable foods, is missing that connection of eating together and how important it is to connect over food and especially the intergenerational connections that happen. So we're learning language, we're trying new things. And so just really grateful that you guys could join us and we could just enjoy some food together today. Does anyone want to share what their favorite food is?
Fish. Right? Right? James?
Salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon. Do you know how to say salmon in Yuułuʔił̔atḥ? Suha? What kind of salmon is suha?
Just salmon in general.
How about you two? Any favorite foods that you?
Yeah, I'm part Nisga'a, so I really like seaweed. My mom harvests it during spring and dries it, prepares it. It goes great with ucluelet grease.
Marissa, what are some of your favorite foods from the land?
Quackmas.
Yeah. Herring roe.
I was ready for that one.
I like having
Sea urchin, yeah.
Oh, how do you say that in Yuułuʔił̔atḥ? Tutsup.
That's my favorite word in the world. Love it. So in the Coast Salish homelands, they've shared with me that like the big red one is Ucluełił̔ił̔atḥ, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, so I apologize. And then there's squeetsy, which is the little green one. Hi. Hi.
Is the smaller one. The
Oh,
tup is
okay.
the bigger one.
Okay.
So, but the tutsup is the prized one that people love the most.
I prefer the smaller ones myself.
Okay, I hear that in those lands as well. The elders love the little
Mm-hmm.
squeetsies or hi.
That's what I was
Hey.
looking for
Hey.
too.
Hey,
Hey. Okay, I'll keep practicing. Yeah.
And with the kwakmis, do you have it on hemlock or on kelp, or how do
I
you?
prefer it on the branches.
Okay.
But the only way I've gotten it lately is on the seaweed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, as a mom of three, I'd be so curious. Like, one of the focuses of this show is, of course, to acknowledge the land, you know, the foods of these lands, and that food is medicine, right? Like, deeply medicine in so many ways. But also, we never want to overwhelm new moms, you know, and how to make food approachable. And so, is there anything that you really love to cook or share that's quick and easy as a mother of three? Or any tips or feeding families? Yeah.
Lots of takeout. Just kidding.
That is welcome here
Yeah,
too.
My husband does all of the cooking.
Ah, you married well.
Yeah,
Nice.
I did. But right from the beginning, they've always ate like our traditional foods. Like, I think James, his first food was actually fish soup when he was 6 months old. It's
Amazing.
I never did baby food. I never did like the purees. They were always just eating fish or whatever we eat, really. And they've never been picky eaters. They eat like everything.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything was so delicious.
I'm glad that you liked it. Yeah. It was fun to eat together. And nice to meet you, James.
But James, he was really inspiring for me as someone that tries to teach people about food and share the love of food, to be with a young person that eats so well and adventurous and was very just open to trying new things. I'm really grateful to be around a young person that eats that way. So thank you so much for inspiring me. Well, let's hope that food can be that connector that brings us together. And, you know, we did this kind of favorite food idea, but I think that's also just a potluck, right? Bringing that thing that you love and then sharing it with those you love, which is so great. Yeah.